March 28th, 2024 Metropolitan Planning Commission will call the meeting open and to order, and then we'll start with item B, which is the adoption of the agenda. Commissioners, the agenda has been sent out and posted prior to the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt? There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. Next is the approval of the March 14th, 2024 minutes. Those were also sent out and posted prior to the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes? There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the minutes are adopted. Next is item D, which is the recognition of the council members, and I know that we have Councilman Cortez here. There he is. I am blind. Come on up. Welcome. And I know you're going to give us an update, Councilman. Thank you for coming down. We appreciate it. It's good to see you again. Oh, hold on. We got to get the mic on. There we go. Go ahead.
I hope you're all doing well, and thank you for having me back today. Worked with the planning department, and we are in agreement on the plan, so I believe we're in a good spot to move forward. So everything that they presented, that you and your team have received today, we are in agreement with.
Which number is it? Oh, item 11. Item 11, and then we have, yes, and we have an updated document.
Yes.
Commissioners, okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Nope, that is it.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Appreciate your hard work on this. Any other council members? I think we'll get, as the council members coming in, we always try to recognize them. All right, so next is item E, items for deferral withdrawal. And Lisa, you're back.
Amelia's out today, so I'm back, yes. She asked if I remembered how to do it. So the following items are for deferral or withdrawal. Starting on page 3 of your agenda, item number 1, 2023 CP 003005, Bordeaux Whites Creek Haynes Trinity Community Plan Amendment. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. Item number 2, 2009 SP 005003, 10th Avenue South SP Amendment. Staff recommendation is to withdraw. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 3, 2014 SP 050002, 4214 Central Pike Amendment. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. Item number 4, 2015 SP 013005, Stevens Valley not that one. I didn't remember how to do it. Skipping down to item number 6, 2023 S 197001, Vaughn Subdivision. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. Item number 7, 2024 S 016001, Re-Subdivision of Goyle Heights. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 25th meeting. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 8, 2024 S 025001, Madison Station. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. Item number 9, 2024 S 033001, Batson Selma. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. Item number 10, 14570P 001, Bellevue Retail. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 14, 2024 S 031001, a rezoning a Gillick Street subdivision. Staff recommendation is to defer to the April 11th meeting. That's it.
All right, Lisa. So, Commissioners, thank you very much. The items for deferral withdrawal are the following, and then if there's, I think I got all these right, but I was distracted at one small point. So make sure I get these, Lisa, for the Commissioners. So the items for deferral withdrawal are items 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 14. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, Commissioners, you've heard those items for deferral withdrawal. Is there a motion? Is there a motion and a second? Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are deferred or withdrawn. Now we're on to item F, which is the consent agenda. And Lisa, you'll take us through this. Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Items noted on consent will be read aloud at the beginning of the meeting. We're going to do that now. If there's opposition, please raise your hand for the item. Items on the consent will be voted on at a single time, so unless they are pulled by someone in the audience or the commission, they will be voted on together. The following items are on tentative consent. Please raise your hand if anyone is opposed. Item number 4, 2015 SP 013005, Stevens Valley SP Amendment. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 4? Item number 4 will be on consent. Item number 5 will be presented. Item number 11, that one will be presented too. Item number 12, 2024 SP 009001, 928 Delmas Avenue. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 12? 12 will be on consent. Item number 13, 2020 S 105003 Hobson Park. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 13? 13 will be on consent. Item number 15, 2024 Z 012PR 001, a rezoning on Hamilton Church Road. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 15? 15 will be on consent. Item number 16, 2024 Z 025PR 001, a rezoning on Hillsborough Circle. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 16? 16 will be on consent. Item number 17, 2024 Z 026PR 001, a rezoning on Paragon Mills Road. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 17? 17 will be on consent. Item number 18, 2024 Z 029PR 001. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 18? Okay, 18 will be presented. Item number 19, 2024 Z 030PR 001, a rezoning on Whitsitt Road. Is there anyone in opposition to item number 19? 19 will be on consent. Item number 20, 2024 Z 031PR 001, a rezoning on Linwood Avenue. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 20? 20 will be on consent. Item number 21, 2024 Z 033PR 001, a rezoning on Courtney Avenue. Is there anyone in opposition to item number 21? 21 will be on consent. Item number 22, 2024 Z 034PR 001, a rezoning on Oriole Avenue. Is there anyone in opposition to item number 22? 22 will be on consent. Item number 23, 2024 Z 035PR 001, a rezoning on Heights Ferry Road. Is there anyone here in opposition to item number 23? 23 will be on consent. And Chair, I'm going to just go through and read the captions now. As information for our audience, if you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Planning Commission today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Planning Commission's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact independent legal counsel. The following items are on the consent agenda. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 4, 2015 SP 013005 Stevens Valley SP Amendment. It's a request to amend a portion of a specific plan for properties on Union Bridge Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 12, 2024 SP 009001 928 Delmas Avenue SP. It's a request to rezone from R6 to SP for property located on Delmas Avenue to permit 2 multifamily units. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 13, 2020 S 105003 Hobson Park. It's a request for final plat approval to create 82 cluster lots and dedicate right-of-way. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 15, 2024Z012PR001. It's a request to rezone from AR2A to R10 for property located on Hamilton Church Road. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 16, 2024Z025PR001. A request to rezone from OR20 to MULA for property on Hillsborough Circle. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 17, 2024Z026PR001. It's a request to rezone from R8 to RM20A for property located on Paragon Mills Road. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 19, 2024Z030PR001. It's a request to rezone from RS5 to RM20A and S for property located on Whitsett Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. On item number 20, 2024Z031PR001. It's a request to rezone from R6 to OR20A for property located on Linwood Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 21, 2024Z033PR001. It's a request to rezone from R10 to RM15A and S for property located on Courtney Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 22, 2024Z034PR001. It's a request to rezone from RS5 to R6A for property located on Oriole Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 23, 2024Z035PR001. A request to rezone from RS15 to RS7.5 for property located on Hydes Ferry Road. Staff recommendation is to approve. And under other business on page 8 of your agenda, item number 24, a new employment contract for Creamy Sharp and contract renewals for Eric Hammer and Anna Greider. And item number 28, to accept the director's report and approve administrative items.
Thank you, Lisa. You didn't forget how to do it.
It was a little rough.
Good job. All right, so commissioners, the items on the consent agenda for passage all at the same time are the following. Items number 4, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 28. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, commissioners, you've heard the items to approve. Is there a motion to adopt? There's a motion. Second, any discussion? Commissioner London.
I just need to recuse myself from the vote on number 4.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll join in.
So noted. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, thank you for that. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are approved on the consent agenda. And so that brings us to, we're going to have a short presentation on Connect. Is that correct, Director? All right. A short presentation. Okay. Well, before we start, just so that everybody knows, we're going to hear 3 items. Thank you, Commissioner Clifton. Sometimes I forget to say that. And just for clarification, we're going to hear items number 5, 11, and 18. Although item 11 we have considered, and the public hearing is closed, so it's just, we'll hear an update on it where we believe that, as I had said, that we work towards a compromise, and I appreciate the team working on that with the council member and the community. And we always have a lot of good input and thought, and I know the councilman has worked a lot on that. And then also item 18. So we'll be hearing 3 items tonight. All right, so go ahead.
Apologize. I basically shut the system down at one of the meetings we were presenting at recently, and so I want to be careful. Everything started blinking. But thank you, Chair. I'm Marty Sewell. I'm the Transportation Planning Director at NDOT and been project manager for the Connect Downtown study for the last 2 years, as we've been working on this study to help keep downtown moving. We've been working, like I said, for 2 years after identifying several of our major concerns downtown that I don't think would be a surprise to anyone about the traffic congestion and different activities that go along on the curb that are very complicated things going on. And so we needed to have a plan for downtown that could not only address growth, but also address connectivity to the rest of the work that's being done in the downtown region, like East Bank and East Bank and Edge Hill, things that your team have been working on here at Planning. And so I'll just dive right into it. First of all, I guess show you the map too to remind you of the study area. We did focus inside the interstate loop in downtown, with our primary focus, of course, on the west side of the river downtown, recognizing all the great work that was going on across the river in East Bank. And we've been working with our partners of course, we're NDOT and WEGO, TDOT, and the National Downtown Partnership. We're all financial sponsors for this plan as we were getting going. And we developed this scope back in it was late 2021. And you'll just see quickly here the calendar of how we've gone through the various phases of this study. And here we are now in March, providing updates to various boards and commissions. And then we'll be at council on Monday for the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. We will start at 3:15. And so if you want to have a longer version of this, you can tune in and listen in there. But we also plan to take it to the council for consideration of a resolution to endorse in April as well. I won't go into all of the goal statements here, but these are the goals that helped us organize the issues and concerns and turn them into solutions that we could then study. We worked with the community. Thousands of residents were able, and stakeholders were able to participate throughout the process in a variety of ways. We used that input along with, of course, best practices and technical analysis, and then the past work, all of the great work that's been done over the years, mostly by the Planning Department and Planning Commission. We're able to bring all of that together with the work that other organizations have done to get the ball rolling. And we developed the recommendations, moved into the stage of then studying and testing them. As you can imagine, the modeling that we did said that there's a problem. If we don't do anything, we're going to have a real problem. Mode split is important. We need to shift more people away from just driving single occupancy vehicles into downtown. And so this plan had a major goal of addressing that. And part of that is to also complement whatever capital projects we have in this plan with a more robust transportation demand management program, which again, a program that was able to start when we were at the Planning Department. And we're able, with this, I'll speak about it a couple seconds later, but we'll be able to get into that in more detail. We've organized the recommendations by 5 big moves. These are overlapped in some ways, but it is a way of just organizing our thought process. And I'll hit on each of those real quickly. And again, you can, if you tune in on Monday, you can hear a long presentation, but we'll have the final document will be posted on Monday as well, along with some outreach with the media that we'll do. But the Managing Congestion Big Move is about continuing to build out our traffic management center, which will have a lot of technology along with adaptive signal technology that will change the way we're moving traffic in downtown. We're going to do these things first. We're already working toward implementing the traffic management center. The signal technology, we've received a grant to do some of that so far, and we'll be looking for more funding in the future to complete that. Adaptive signal technology, meaning that it's smart, it can learn. It could also be, we can also change things from a central office, looking at all the screens that have our various cameras. It's going to change the way downtown functions. And so it's very important to get that going before we do anything else. And so I wanted to make sure we emphasized that. But in terms of our TDM program, we want to be able to expand it and make it very Nashville-centric. It needs to be able to address our evening workers, especially on the weekends, that have a very difficult time serving with transit today. And also, we just need to be able to focus on visitors. We need to focus on our special events, help work with our applicants on special events, let them teach their customers that there are other options to get to these big events, not just driving alone and parking. Not that parking's ever going to go away or driving alone's ever going to go away, but we want to make sure that those choices are clear. The big move for safety is wrapped into everything we're doing. That's more of a Vision Zero approach. We're already working on various capital projects in downtown. Church Street was a recent one where we made some improvements. The leading pedestrian interval, which is going to give pedestrians an advantage at intersections, that's in progress, as well as consideration, and we'll have to do this more, of no ride on red that would be helpful for implementing some of these other recommendations. For moving more people, this is the one that has generated the most, I believe, excitement. The idea of being able to build out this part of our plan downtown that has been unable to come to a conclusion with in other processes that we've had, even with our in motion plan, the transit master plan, and with the last referendum. we weren't able to come to agreement on what to do down there. So that was a major focus of what we looked at in this study. But we want to go ahead and follow up with building the Sobro Transit Center, which was part of In Motion, part of the Better Bus Plan. And it's critical to the transit priority corridors that are being proposed. And those are that thicker line than the light gray that would form a loop around basically downtown, connect to the East Bank and back. We would have another transit center on the East Bank that I'm sure you're all very familiar with from the work on East Bank. And also have some better priority on some of the major frequent routes that go into downtown, having different features that could help move those buses through more quickly. We would look to have the design for the Sobro Center as well as the transit priority corridors along the west side, as well as the James Robertson Parkway under design within the next 2 or 3 years. Just the idea of moving more people, of course, this is not news breaking here, but the centers and having the transit priority corridors, this will change our entire system. Right now, the entire transit system gets clogged up in downtown just like everything else, and it has effects that go out throughout the community. And so this will add a lot of efficiency to that network once it's complete. And then lastly, next to last, the complete networks. This is focusing on rebuilding out our mobility lanes. And we're referring to mobility lanes, meaning our bikeways and places for scooters to be able to operate safely, separated from traffic. Hopefully, where we can, physical separation, to build up a very robust system downtown that we just don't have today that connects people to where they want to go. Right now, we have a few lanes here and there, and there's just no continuity or connectivity, and we want to make sure that we can fill those gaps in. And the last thing is the curb. The curb space today is way more in demand than it's ever been before. After the pandemic, with all the deliveries and different changes that we've had in our economy, there's a lot of demand. And then in our downtown, that demand is also always there for loading goods. The number of beer trucks that come into downtown at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning just blew my mind. I had no idea all of that activity that goes on in downtown before we all wake up. But what we want to do is bring some more order to what's happening on the curb. You know, people right now, they'll get out of their Uber in the middle of the street, or you've seen, I'm sure you have plenty of stories you could tell. But the idea here is that we would have more flexible spaces along the curbs that could change throughout the day. We would have more loading zones in locations that are more convenient for the businesses that need the most, as well as looking at our valet zones that exist today, recognizing you really don't need a 24-hour valet zone. And so maybe there are other things that could use that curb at times of the day when you're not using it, as an example of the flexibility. We'll also be looking at a pilot program in the very near future that will help us understand what we need to do in terms of enforcement and what technology we can use. They'll have some various technologies that we'll be able to implement, cameras and things of that nature that can help us enforce. We've got some work to do to get that implemented, but that's an exciting thing that's on the horizon. And just slide here just to emphasize that we, as we've gone through the phasing process and gone back and worked with our stakeholders in more detail, we've moved a lot of the technology to the front. We're making a very strong commitment to the stakeholders. We will continue to evaluate as we make some of those operational changes, the 2 ways to 1 ways and 1 ways to 2 ways. We want to make sure that we learn from each of those changes and that we make changes in the future based on what we learn from that. So we'll continue to have that learning process, and we'll continue to work with the planning department staff as we look at things like the major and collector street plan, the downtown code, and any kind of guidelines help that we can be part of. We've had other conversations, and I should take this opportunity to be very thankful to the planning department staff for their role that they played in helping us throughout this 2-year process. And Joni Williams and Eric Cameron in particular were on our technical advisory committee and provided a lot of valuable benefits and valuable add-ons to what we were doing. And we're able to give us that perspective that comes from the Planning Commission of all of the work that you have to see and approve and look at in downtown. So with that, you start looking at bringing all these things together, whether it was Edge Hill Plan, the East Bank, work that NDOT will be doing on better connectivity, bikeway connectivity from Centennial Park to downtown, our East Nashville Spokes project that'll better connect the bikeway system to East Nashville. And you start to see these pieces come together and the true multimodal network that becomes real as the foundation of our system moving forward. And this would help not just in downtown. This isn't a downtown benefit plan. You know, this is a plan that will help move the entire region more efficiently and effectively. And with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Marty, thank you. Very much. We appreciate you coming down and spending time with us, and thank you for working with the team, and I feel like y'all work really good together, so it's good. It's good to see. Any questions for Marty? Yes, Commissioner Leslie.
What is an adaptive signal?
I wish Brad Freeze was here. He's one of our engineers. But what I'm talking about, that's just a lot more technology into the system. You know, you have the boxes and they have a lot more technology in there. But the idea is that they can learn over time. They can learn patterns and at different times of day. They can learn whenever traffic's heavy. But they're not what we have today. They're the opposite of what we have in downtown today. I'm just having this experience from driving from the Bankers Building over in Metro Center a few minutes ago when we were presenting to the MTA board. And it took me about 25 minutes to get from there to here. And it is because we were sitting at stop. And those are things we're working on right now already, Sue. So we'll not just adaptive signal technology, but just modern technology that can help keep traffic moving.
Any other questions?
I had a quick question. Can we go back to the map which shows what happens to Second, Third? So do we are those green spots on 7th and 3rd where it's two-way?
Yeah, that's right. We started off with those. It looks kind of funny on the map, but it makes sense whenever you're on the ground and start looking at where different garage accesses are, especially the large capacity garage access that are really instrumental to, bring the people who come downtown and need to park. I'm sure you've heard horror stories of the 2 and 3 hours getting stuck in some of those parking garages at big events. And we wanted to be very, very sensitive to that problem as we were making these changes. But the idea of these operational changes is to make more space so that, because there is a very limited amount of space on our streets in downtown relative to what other cities our size would have, but to be able to make the maximum use out of that space for mode shift.
So we don't have, I always sort of cringe at when it switches from one-way to two-way. That seems like a continued we have a little of that now, and it creates a lot of confusion.
We will have to sign it to the max, and be able to have the right messaging associated with it. But the benefit of having the other modes and having space to provide for bikes and pedestrians and that sort of thing will outweigh, I believe, the costs.
Great questions. Any more questions? Saying none. Marty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming down, and thank you. If you ever need anything from us, let us know. We appreciate it. All right. Oh, Commissioner Smith. Oh, okay. So we have a few monitors where they're gonna. They've sent somebody, Commissioner, so we'll get, sorry about that. This one's messed up right here too, so we'll get them. Sorry about that. Sometimes must be low bid government. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't even need to say that. So before we start the items to be considered, we always ask, I always check my own phone, just make sure your phone's on silent so that we can get through the meeting. We appreciate that very much. And then the process of how we do these, I always go over this very quickly. We appreciate you all coming down. We're all volunteers as well. The commissioners are, and I appreciate their service. And we want to hear you. And so we have the staff will do the presentation of the item. Then we'll open the public hearing. If we haven't already closed it, then the applicant will be allowed 10 minutes, and they can use 2 of the 10 minutes for rebuttal if they so choose. Then we'll do everyone wishing to speak in support. Then we'll do everyone wishing to speak in opposition, rebuttal from the applicant, and then the council member, and then we'll declare the public hearing closed, and that's where the commissioners will deliberate. So I just want to remind everybody that's the process here. We appreciate you coming down, and we really, really thank everybody, especially the commissioners, for their time. All right, so we are on item 5, and Donald's going to take us through the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donald Anthony with Metro Planning Department. This is item 5 on your agenda. The request is for final plat approval to create 2 lots on 4.75 acres located at 1480 Georgetown Court. Staff recommends approval with conditions if the Planning Commission finds that the site is suitable for development in accordance with Section 3-3 of the subdivision regulations. The subject property is currently zoned R40, and all of the adjacent properties are also zoned R40. Single-family residential is the primary land use in this area. The subject property itself is currently occupied by 2 cell towers. As shown on the screen, the final plat would create 2 lots. Lot 1 is on the left-hand side of the screen. This would include 2.31 acres. And the existing cell towers are located on the rear of this lot. They are indicated on the plat. Lot 2 is on the right-hand side of the screen. It would include 2.44 acres, and it has an existing access easement for the cell towers. The subject property is in the T3 Suburban Neighborhood Maintenance, or T3 NM and conservation policies. Therefore, staff applied the standards found in Section 3 of the subdivision regulations. As part of our review, we analyzed the proposed subdivision's compatibility with surrounding parcels, and we found that the proposed lot frontage, lot size, street setback, and lot orientation all comply with those standards. The subject property is covered by steep slopes, as indicated here. All of that red is indicating slopes of greater than 25%. The slopes and the existing cell towers do pose some practical challenges to the possible building areas on this site. Section 3-3 of the subdivision regulations requires that land be suitable for development. However, the Planning Commission does have the authority to determine whether a site with unsuitable land conditions may be subdivided. Staff reviewed the plat and determined that a couple of steps could be taken to minimize disturbances to sensitive environmental areas. These include designating both lots as critical lots and limiting each lot to 1 single-family residential use. Just a note here on critical lots, the lots would be designated as critical per Section 3-3 and Section 17.28.030 of the zoning code. The proposed lots are a bit too large to meet the strict hillside development standards listed in the zoning code. However, the subdivision is also a bit too small to qualify for conservation development standards. So we're sort of in a interesting spot with this particular subdivision. The applicant would be, however, required to submit a critical lot plan for each lot, and that would require staff review of all grade changing techniques and devices utilized on these lots. If the Planning Commission finds that the steps that we've outlined here are adequate and that the site is suitable for development in accordance with Section 3-3 of the subdivision regulations, then staff recommends approval of this final plat. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Appreciate that. And we'll go ahead and open this item for public hearing. And is the applicant in the room? I don't see the applicant. And so anyone seeing the applicant not in the room, is anyone wishing to speak in support? Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I don't believe that. No counselor, no rebuttal. We declare the public hearing closed. And Vice Chair, it was quick.
I'm going to support staff's recommendation.
Perfect. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Clifton.
Just for people who might be listening at home, we're all experts, of course. That's not true. That was a joke. Remind us what the critical lot means and why that was significant to mention.
So a critical lot is any lot that has some significant, typically environmental features. So it can be floodplain, it can be hillside. There are a number of different factors that can come into play. This particular lot, it's the hillside, which if I can get my fingers to work, that's what you're seeing here with indicated by the red and the yellow. That in this particular area, as you can see, a number of lots are just completely covered in steep steep slopes. So with a critical lot, depending upon the size of the lot, there are different steps that you would have to go through before you could ever pull a building permit. And these particular lots, because of their size, you sort of run into an issue where we can't require quite the strict hillside development standards because these are larger than 1 acre. But we also can't require the strict conservation development standards because this entire site is smaller than 400,000 square feet. So instead, we're sort of in this middle territory where when the applicant comes in for a building permit, they're going to have to submit for each of these lots a critical lot plan. And at that point, staff would look at that plan, look at any kind of grading that's proposed, and make sure that any disturbances proposed here would be minimal, and that the grading techniques and so forth comply with all of the Metro standards.
So basically, it just gives more authority to the staff to ensure that once you see it, you can approve it.
Correct. It makes you go through an extra step just to make sure that we're not degrading or doing any more damage to the environmental factors than is absolutely necessary.
Any other discussion? Maybe a motion from the vice chair?
Yes, I was having flashbacks to another cell tower case we had a while ago.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to approve staff's recommendation, but I realize staff's recommendation is a little tricky. Is that right? We need to find that it is suitable. Is that right?
Approve with conditions if the planning commission finds that the site is suitable for development.
So do we have to have any further
So,
something on the record?
so you would need to, I would suggest making the motion to say that you are approving with conditions and finding that the site is suitable in accordance with section 3-3.
Can I say that's my motion?
Yes, you can. That's a proper motion with Lisa's explanation, and there is a second, and that's perfect. So proper motion and second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and it's adopted with those conditions. Thank you, Lisa, for your help with that.
I know, she had it so nicely.
All right. Commissioners, that leads us to item 11. Dustin's going to take us.
Dustin Shane, staff planner. Item 11 is a rezoning on Cloverland Drive. It's a rezone from R40 to RS40. Our recommendation disapprove, but approve with a substitute ordinance. R40, this is before you, the original as filed policy, mostly T3 suburban neighborhood maintenance. Just an update to you, on February 22nd, the commission identified the need for a more consistent zoning pattern with the substitute, so we were directed to work with the council member. We produced that map. We think it balances more neighborhood wishes with future housing diversity needs as found in Nashville Next. So you'll see we've kind of focused on corridor and neighborhood entrance and one of the little transitional area in the north, and kept most of the interior areas out of the down zone. The pieces you see interior to the neighborhood were neighbor requests to be removed, so we've gone ahead and reflected that with our substitute here. So this is our previous substitute that we submitted last time, and then this is our revised final substitute showing the agreement we came to with the council member and the community. So we recommend disapprove as submitted and approve with this substitute ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. And so the council member spoke on this before, and Councilman, you feel like you've worked out all the community concerns, and this is a compromise with the department. Is that correct?
We do, and I want to say Dustin and his team were fantastic to work with, and so it was a very pleasurable process.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that. And so we're not, if more questions come up, Councilman, we'll ask you for sure. But we've already closed the public hearing. I mean, sometimes we open the public hearing back up if there's a material difference, but I believe that we've asked for this to happen. And is there any discussion?
No discussion. I just want to make sure I have clarity. So We're approving it with the substitute, the recommendation is approve with the substitute ordinance.
The new substitute,
Yeah,
the new
which is-
substitute. Yes,
Okay.
which is on your desk.
So, okay.
Any other questions? This motion, Commissioner Tibbs?
Yeah, Lisa, jump in if you need to, but I approve this item with the substitute ordinance.
With the revised substitute final as submitted on our desk. That'd be perfect. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. One no. Commissioner Smith. All right. And it's adopted, the substitute. All right, so that leads us to our final item, which is item number 18. Well, and before we move on to that, I do want to thank the residents and the council member. I know the process can be a little confusing at the Planning Commission, but we really try to make it simple, and I know a lot of times it's not. There's a lot that goes into planning and regulation, and so I appreciate everybody coming down, and we really appreciate the council member for helping and working with the staff team. Thank you. All right, item number 18. And we're on item 18. All right. All right. Are we ready, Christopher? You know, we're always having technical difficulty around here. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon. Christopher Paulson presenting item 18. It's a request to rezone from R40 to R10. Staff is recommending a disapproval of R10 and approval of R30. As you can see, the site is a 0.69 acre, one parcel located on the west side of Belmont Boulevard. The property has one single family on it and is surrounded by R10 to the south and RS40 to the west, north and northeast. Surrounding land uses include single-family and two-family residential. You have Lipscomb University to the east, and the adjacent property to the north is R40. The policy falls within the suburban neighborhood maintenance, which is intended to maintain the general character of the suburban neighborhood, and is characterized by one and two family homes. The parcel immediately surrounding the property to the north and west falls in the T3 NM policy and is predominantly developed with single-family homes in the RS40 and R40 districts. If rezoned to the requested R10 district, the site could potentially allow for up to 6 units based on acreage alone, and is determined, if determined to be duplex eligible, of course. Staff believes that the density would be too intense for the policy at this location and recommends an alternative zoning district of R30, which could allow up to 2 units. Due to this lot size, we feel R30 would be more in line with policy and character of the area. And with that, staff recommends disapproval of R10 and approval of R30. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I did see the councilman walk in, and so we always let the council members speak as they come in. Councilman Prepty, do you want to go before we open the public hearing? And then we always let you speak last, too, so there you go. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Of course, thank you all so much. Apologies for my tardiness. I just came directly from Metro Water. As the chair stated, my name is Jeff Prepti. I'm the district council member for District 25, here specifically for the proposed rezoning that is before us. So I've been speaking directly with the planning department on this and directly with the applicants who are requesting this rezone. A little bit of context about this request as well is that currently this lot is zoned as R40 and is a non-conforming lot. So there is a structure that is currently on this lot. However, with it being non-conforming, the property owners are not able to adequately renovate or to be able to develop this lot to keep up with the neighborhood. This property is actually pretty dilapidated at this time. And so in speaking with planning, I just wanted to let it be known from my perspective that I do support planning's recommendation for a rezone for R30. So,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
so
And then
much.
we'll make sure that you can speak at the end.
Thank
Thank you for coming down. Good to see you. All right. And so commissioners, we'll open this item for public hearing. And is the applicant in the room? Come on up. Welcome. And you have 10 minutes. You can save 2 of the 10 minutes for rebuttal if you so choose. And if you'd state your name and address for the record. Welcome.
My name is Michael Isaac. I'm the applicant and the property owner. And the reason I wanted to speak is that the R30 and the R10 either of them would allow putting 2 houses on the property. But going was an R30. Even if I tried to put 2 houses in the future on it, that will allow for a smaller homes, like skinnier homes, because of the setback. When you take into account, I think it's 15 foot for the R30 setback. So you only have like 70 foot to put 2 homes if I wanted to, versus an R10 would allow me to put a much bigger homes. And what I'm trying to do really, I'm actually building my own house on that lot. So even if I go to R10, I'm not gonna go and be able to put a 6 unit. Just the lot is 100 foot, and it's so hard to divide it into 3 different lots to be able to put 6 units on the lot using 100 foot in there. So what I was trying to do is to go to R10, be able to build a house for myself, which would probably be like about 40 feet, then leave 10 feet in between. And then in the future, if I wanted to build a second house in there, there would be enough space to build a nice, decently sized house right next door. And also, there's multiple property to the north of Belmont of 3603 that are zoned R10. They're not even 10,000 square foot lot. Like there's the Glen Echo Road, which is about 120 yards down from the house. There's multiple units there that are R10. The adjacent property to the north is about 5 acres, and that's R10. So in the future, that could become a huge development with multiple units in there. So going to R10, I don't think it will mess with the characteristics of the neighborhood, considering what's existing right now. I think it will allow for a much better looking home in there than going with an R30. And that's the reason behind of going with an R10 versus an R30.
Thank you, sir. All right. And we'll save 2 minutes for rebuttal. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So anyone wishing to speak in support? All right. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Y'all want to speak in opposition? You get 2 minutes, and anybody? You don't have to. We don't want to pressure. We are friendly. We're friendly people. Most of the time, Stuart's friendly. All right. All right. Seeing no one wishing to speak, come on up. Or wait, hold on. We'll give him a second. All right, so we'll seeing no one wishing to speak in opposition, we appreciate y'all coming down, and all right, and so no need for rebuttal. Do you have anything else to say, sir? Or no? Okay, Councilman, you want to come up? You can help us out. Close us out.
thank you all again. Just wanted to say in closing with regard to some of the concerns expressed by the property owner in this specific application, sort of knowing what the process is and the ability to potentially go before the Board of Zoning Appeals with regard to specific setbacks. Also, with regard to R10, there are some significant concerns as far as frontage, street frontage of this lot. And I'm not recalling the specific square footage or the specific footage, and I know it's in a report that was published, but I believe that the street frontage for this lot currently is about 75 feet. And so again, R30 would be the most appropriate given the lot location, the street frontage, the lot size. And so just expressing my support for this rezone, but for something that would be more in keeping with the nature and character of this specific lot. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate it. Seeing no one else wish to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. Commissioner Clifton, you want to go first?
So the reason for the staff's recommendation for R30 was a general feeling that it fit in better, basically. Is that?
There were a few things. So our understanding was that the applicant was hoping, so let me back up. The current zoning is R40, which is a 1 and 2 family zone, but because the lot is only 30,000 square feet, they're not eligible to build 2 units. And so our understanding from the applicant is that the intent of the rezoning was to build 2 units. Not more, not to subdivide, but to build 2. Their request for R10 was to allow the 2 units, but with smaller setbacks. And so when we were considering it, staff felt like because the lot size is 30,000 square feet, the one adjacent to it across the street is also 30,000, much larger to the north. The R30 actually achieves the land use that they were hoping to achieve to permit 2 units. And so it achieves the same land use that they were intending with the R10. The other thing is that the R10, based on acreage alone, it could allow for a subdivision, but because of requirements in the subdivision regulations related to compatibility, it is unlikely that it would be able to be subdivided. And so while an R10 by the pure math, you could say, oh, that's big enough to get 3 lots, the subdivision regulations actually have requirements for consistency on lot size and frontage, and so it's unlikely that it could be subdivided. We try, if we can, to not rezone something in a way that might be setting an expectation that somebody could subdivide it, but it won't actually be able to meet the subdivision regulations. And so understanding that they had wanted to get 2 units, the R30 will allow for the 2 units, and so it achieves the goals. And as the council member mentioned, if there's a setback issue, then there is a path for relief through the BZA for that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, how about a motion, Commissioner Clifton?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, yep.
I drive by this several times, so I'm familiar with this site. I had no idea it was actually like that. But with that, I make a motion to approve staff's recommendation to disapprove R10 and to approve R30.
That's a proper motion. And a second, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. And
I'd like to just say to the community who wasn't sure, I'm sure staff will be, if you have any questions, or your council person will be happy to answer anything. I know you guys were thinking out, we could see you thinking out loud.
yeah,
so.
we could. So we appreciate y'all coming down, and thank you. And hopefully that's a good, I would talk to the council member about it and or our staff. But we appreciate y'all coming down, and thank you very much. And so that leads us to our last portion of the agenda, which is other business and historic. Commissioner Smith, any update?
We had our meeting last week. I don't think there's anything really to impart, except that it seems to have come up a couple times. If anyone here is interested in building in a historic overlay and has a height restriction, please make sure your contractor figures in their joist size. That's now twice cost someone
lots of
probably
money.
several $100,000.
Gotcha.
So.
Very good
Just a helpful
recommendation.
tip
Just
for
a helpful
anyone.
tip. Thank you, Commissioner. Very good. Parks, Commissioner Hanley.
Thank you, Chair. Both the Parks Board and the Greenways Open Space Commission are at that point where they get to appoint new officers. I've purposely not thrown my hat in the ring, but we should have those appointments by the end of April. And it's just an exciting time for parks. You know, springtime is when our parks come alive, and so just seeing the agenda not necessarily grow in length, but the reports from the staff about the activity upcoming and the things that are taking place in our park system is just great. So just wanted to, again, highlight our parks staff as always, but especially during this time of year where they really have to kick it in gear and have a lot of seasonal staff joining. So it's always a great time of year to celebrate, but also support our parks.
Excellent information. Thank you, sir. So on Executive Committee, Vice Chair and I just want to say we hope that you can make the next 2 April meetings, right? We don't have anything else, I don't believe. One's April 11th and one's April 25th. And the Deputy Director tells me that there's not a lot to report on the Director's side, and so it leads us in the... No, that's just our normal meetings. We will announce, Commissioner Tibbs, maybe we can make up another meeting for you, Commissioner Tibbs. We are getting, when's your official last day, Commissioner Tibbs? Well, no, it's not good. Anyway, legislative update, the council member is not here, and so seeing no other business, is there a motion to adjourn? We're adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.